Godot has a huge potential, but I prefer Unity. So the thing with Godot, I like Godot. Don't get me wrong, I like all the game engines. Godot is really great for 2D. It has potential for good 3D games as well. I've been seeing more smaller games though being made in Godot. There's a couple medium-sized games that are being done in Godot. I think for Godot is great for like platformers, 2D platformers, and top-down games, that sort of thing. Although I have seen some 3D games made in Godot, nothing big yet. I'm sure as I say that somebody will come up with something better. But I think when it comes to making the longer, I guess more of the polished looking games, I still see Unity and Unreal, obviously Unreal Engine being part of like the top favorites. But it does have good potential. Don't get me wrong, Godot is a really good game engine. It's free open source, and yeah, maybe in the future we'll see more Godot. I think they need to invest more though. They need more donations and stuff like that. They do need a couple more people kind of like to know how to create stuff in Godot. That's for the process. Obviously, they need to kind of focus on more on their community. Obviously, that's the biggest thing, and see what they can come up with. But it has potential. Yeah, Godot has a highest FPS and low quality games. Yeah, it has good FPS. Yeah, it does for sure. As far as making games, I think Unity, for me, using some of Godot, I think Unity is still kind of easier to make better animators or animation. I still find it a lot easier to make things like in Unity, like the animator for sure. Coding wise, it's not so different from Unity and Godot. I think they're both kind of like very similar in that sort of aspect. The only thing maybe is like I wish Godot had more other features that you can do like Unity has. They have a lot of limitations. Yeah, exactly. They don't have certain features that, say, example, Unity might have. They're adding stuff. They're adding stuff kind of slowly. Progressively, they're adding things to their sort of process. I know they just added tile map system to Godot. So they're going to probably do more things as I probably speak. They're going to probably do bunch of more things. That's what I don't like about Godot. Yeah, they have certain limitations. They're not able to process things as fast as maybe Unity or Unreal Engine. That's kind of like their disadvantage, being open source. But with that said, it has potential for any maybe beginner game developer that wants to get into game development and just wants to do like a simple 2D game, just to starting to see the process. And then once you get into that process, then you can kind of like say, you know what, I like Godot, but I can't make games, or I can't make longer games. I'm gonna switch to Unity. So it's kind of like the stepping stone. Not saying that it is, not only a stepping stone, but there have been commercial games made out of it from Godot. I think the biggest one was that top of my head, Brotato. That's probably the biggest one. It's made a lot of money. Very simple, right? Simple commercial game. Nothing too fancy, but yeah, it's one of those potential games that you can make good games from. I watch a lot of videos on Unity versus Unreal versus Godot. There's tons. Tutorial wise, obviously Unity wins. Godot is catching up. They're trying to make more tutorials for it. I guess maybe nobody wants to get into the tutorial hell. Maybe that's why they're not making too much. There's potential, I think, in the game engine wars. I guess I don't even know if they have a game engine wars. I think every game engine is the same. It has the pros and cons. I think when it comes to the wars, I think more AAA engines are using Unreal Engine because of the high graphics, the high quality, and maybe more indie devs are using Unity and Godot as well. Well, it's kind of like a little mixture because with Unity you can do more kind of higher end indie games. Godot, you can still, it's catching up. It's catching up a little bit. Maybe there will be a time when it can kind of come up with something cool. But my personal preference just is Unity, just because you can do 2D or 3D, and it's very bare bones, and I like that sort of aspect to it. Not saying that it's a bad game engine, but I think all game engines have their pros. If I could do my own game engine, I would, but it would take me too long. I don't want to spend too much time making my own game engine. I don't want to do that. I rather much focus on the game engine and focus on the game, right? I don't care about doing a new my own game engine. Unreal has crap load of tutorials, but you follow a tutorial and it does not work. And you're like, why? There's most tutorials on Unity. Yeah. They do have a lot of tutorials, and sometimes it's the same thing with Unity. You follow a tutorial and damn, it just doesn't work. So there's always that caveat of following a tutorial and then just having it not work. But when it comes to game engines, I think they're all good. Honestly, choose the one that you feel more comfortable with. For me, I choose Unity. Maybe you're a beginner, you might choose Godot. I do recommend Godot if you're starting off with game dev. Unity is still good. Unity is still awesome. You can always switch between Godot and Unity. I don't see any problem. Or you can do Unity Unreal, which works really well. Or you can do a lot of things with both. They all have their pros and cons. Exactly. Each one has their pros and cons. Now, if you want to go crazy, just make your own game engine, yes, but just know that it's only gonna work for your game that you're working on. So if you want to later on say, you know what, I want to do a tower defense now, or I want to do, I don't know, some other sort of game, that might be a little bit difficult transition. You can even make a game in Blender. You can make a game in Notepad. Did you guys know that? You can make a game in Excel. Have you tried making a game in Excel? Yeah, you can make a game in Excel. You can make a game in Notepad. You can make a game engine, or I guess you can make a game in, I don't know, paper and pencil. No tool will make up for lack of skill and vision. Yeah, I like that. Well said. Yeah, if you lack the skill or vision, or you lack the enthusiasm or the, resilience to make a game, then no matter what tool you use, it's never gonna do anything. There you go. I think wisely said. Yep. I think that's the best we can say about that.